Hey, this is Bill Chris back in the Coach's Cave. And today I'm not going to go into X's and O's. I'm going to go into the bigger scheme of things, the age-old question asked by parents and discussed by coaches all across the country is my kid Division One? What makes a Division One player? I'm in a unique position to answer this question because I do this professionally as a side for a company. I evaluate players. I've been 100% in my evaluations since I've started. Gathered my experiences from being a college football player at two different colleges and just being a football fan and following Division One prospects as a hobby uh, since I was a young man when I had a chance. And listen to a lot of guys' stories in the Army. I played with a lot of guys that were Division Three, Division One, and how they got there and what they did in school, and made some observations about them coming up through. So that's how I built this base of evaluation skill that helps me categorize a kid at this level. Uh, so starting with, is your kid Division One? They're in what Division One? Nowadays, things are a little bit tougher and a little bit different since COVID. I'll go a little bit into that. But most people when they say Division One, they're talking about Power Five Alabama type of Division One. But there's different levels within Division One. You have not Power Five Division One. You have uh, Division One Double A, and then Division Two. And so I'm going to go into generally what is Division One, and a little bit down to what makes you Division Three. Which, believe it or not, Division Three is not a bad football player. There's excellent football players in Division Three and Division Two all through football. Playing in college football puts you already in the top 3% coming out of high school football players in the country. So there's not bad football at any level. Knowing that can help you categorize your player too. So COVID has changed things because the transfer portal has changed recruiting fast. Anymore, really, it's if I would suggest anyone interested to read, whether you're a Penn State fan or not, to read For the Glory, written about the Penn State program. The washout rate, the attrition rate of high school football players in college football, it's actually tragic. It's disastrous. The numbers are phenomenal. Kids that you never heard of that were fantastic football players that never make the field for a lot of reasons. I mean, these kids get homesick, they got girlfriends problems, they get grades problems. I mean, just being a great football player isn't enough. So now colleges are taking their chances with kind of a proven commodity in college by taking a kid that wants to transfer. There's a kid who's already been recruited, who was already a good athlete in high school. He's checked that block, and he's good enough student to transfer. Kept his grades off, so he's proven that he's he's passed the attrition test. Like he is going to be at the university for more than a semester or a couple years. He's going to be around a while. So guys are placing their bets, coaches, their careers now on the ease of attaining transfers over high school kids, which are a gamble. So first off, Division One player, high school, don't be a gamble. Okay, it's always been this way, or for the most part, the last lifetime of most kids. Grades. Okay, no matter what division you're in, you got to have grades. You got to Division One, Division Three, particularly the higher the stakes, the more money, the bigger the scholarship, the less risk they want, right? So just like any other business, you want return on your investment. So you got to show first and foremost. It doesn't matter if you're 6'7", run a 4.240. If you get straight Fs, you're a waste of money. So get good grades. Okay. Now getting into the football stuff on film, things they're going to ask in your resume. Was the young man, and this is mostly football, but I think it applies across multiple other sports as well. But so I'm not going to say young lady. It could apply to the young ladies, but was the young man an all-star as a freshman? Did he start as a freshman? It depends on where you're at. If you're down in a quality city football league, starting as a freshman might be good enough. Kids in front of you was another Division One, Division Two player. If you're in a more less established, more rural type competition level, step below some of the premier high school conferences out there. Because let's face it, every state has great conferences, very tough conferences, highly paid coaches, very professional coaches, and smaller schools with relatively less resources. So if you're from a smaller school, smaller conference, then you should be an all-star as a freshman. Absolutely start as a freshman, and probably make some all-star teams. Okay, all region, all county. So if you just got on as a freshman, if you just got on the starting roster as a junior or senior, you're probably not Division One. Okay, and keep in mind, as the agency I work for, there's agencies out there if you're looking that'll take money from the student's family to evaluate, and I'm not gonna say what's better. I prefer the agencies that get paid by the universities to do the evaluation. They work for the universities, not the kids, which works better for the kids. It should be free for the kid. Those kids can sign up, and their evaluation is free because the university is covering the cost of the evaluation and then sorting through the players. So the university is paying the bills, gives the evaluator certain guidelines we have to follow. I can't make any kid, because he's my nephew and he's really good, I can't make him Division One if he doesn't fit in certain parameters. So I hate to tell you, but size does matter. I know there's examples. Everyone brings up examples of a kid that is undersized that plays at a high level. Those kids usually circumstances, they either had an exceptional skill that overrode their size, I mean exceptional, or there is undersized guys that are fantastic football players and they can make it at a high level. People might not bet on. Most of the time they came through a circuitous route, either they free agent route, or from a smaller school, or they grew when they were in school, or they were just that fantastic, they got a chance to prove themselves on the field and they got a look. They are not, even though there's stories out there, they are not the norm. So as your kid Division One, this film's about the norm. What's the punch and play Division One? Okay, so size does matter. Okay, offensive lineman, you're going to be Division One, you better be at least 6'3". If you're under 6'3", here's the naked truth: universities, Division One universities, don't even want us to. We're told not to put you down as Division One. They do not want to see you. And it's tragic. Once again, there's good football players Division Three. Usually Division Three football players don't fit into that 6'3" mold. Maybe they'll make the NFL, maybe they won't. But they're not going to get a look from an evaluator as Division One. I've had film. I had a player, I think he was a 5'10", 265-pound guard. He absolutely mauled a Power 5 Division One defensive lineman on his film. Play after play after play. Just blew this kid up. Division 3. Parents, of course, called the agency complaining, how in the heck could you dummies make my kid Division 3 when he's mauling a Power 5 recruit with a scholarship already? Because he's 5'10". That's just the way it is. Again, don't look down on Division 3 football players. There's kids on those teams that will maul Division 1 football players. Granted, they're still not getting a Division 1 scholarship. They're not Division 1. Okay. In the long run, they're going to take, once again, this is a risk. They're going to take their risk on the frame, and it's always been that way. Always been that way, where frame counts over a lot. So here's an example right here. If you can see my picture, also, of all things being equal, unequal, I've had people say, my kid is 6'5". How's he not Division 1? How's he put together? Okay. So this might be raw truth for you, but here's 2 6'5", if you understand my stick figures, players. Okay. They're both 6'5". One's Division 1, one is not. It's probably Division 2. Right here. What's his inseam? And they'll look at that. They're not going to actually go out and measure your pants as an evaluator, but I will look on film, walking around. What's your inseam? Long legs are Division 1, short legs are Division 2. There's, especially with offensive linemen, that's why I'm using 6'5", and defensive linemen, you generate better center of gravity and more power with this frame. Here, this is Division 1 over this guy. This guy might be able, you'll see some guys in the NFL, maybe like this, but they have something that overcame it. But get a look for a surefire Division 1. Your legs better be longer than your torso. And this one here, his torso, which I've shown, is longer or as long as his legs. And this one has what you would consider more athletic frame with longer legs, shorter torso. Generate more athleticism. It's just physics. So they're going to look at that, okay? Of course, then there's speed. Now you can, on the free sites, you can put in your own speed. We do ask to give a confirmation or a source. And I can tell you, do not fudge your speed. Do not exaggerate your speed on film. We can tell. Watching film, well within a tenth of a second on your 40 time, if you have good film. And in the film, it's got to show the full body of work, okay? You just can't have one highlight or a series of the same play against the same team. We can tell if it's a JV team. We're looking for repeat performances against different teams, different days, different years, against quality opponents. Because we can also tell, pretty much, we're evaluators. We can tell if you're playing the JV. We can tell if you're playing the worst team in the conference for the most part. And I haven't gone and looked at that. I've looked at, okay, what team is that? Usually the highlights will tell us, and I looked at that team to see what competition it was. So, but do not fudge your speed. We can tell, okay? I've even tested it just to make sure. I've had friends coach, evaluate their players, asked their coach, called their coach, what's his time? And it's been on. It's not hard to evaluate speed on film. It's really hard to fudge. So don't do it. Once you do it, you're automatically assumed as slow, okay? And you're out of Division I. Because we're not sending a kid, we're getting paid by the universities. We're not sending a kid that's a 5.040 who says he's 4.7 to a combine. Combines, that's, go to combines. If you truly are fast, let the colleges see you. Combines are a huge way to get evaluated Division I, way to maybe, if you're not noticed or misevaluated by a guy that's an evaluator, an agency, show up. Nothing better than being in front of universities. During COVID years, really kind of hurt kids because they couldn't do that. They got banned they closed down a lot of these combines, but now the combines are back open. Get your butt to a combine. Get your kids, your players, to a combine. Okay, get them in front of the coaches. Okay, after speed, we're looking at technique, and I'll go a little bit through each position real quick on technique, but we can tell, I don't want to see you're pancaking kids. You pancake them right. There's a right way and wrong way. Just like the way coach kids, hey, you pancake that kid wrong. Sure, you're 6'3", 300. You can pancake a 160-pound knock-kneed freshman. Are you going to, if you are in film, you can't help who you play against. If you are pancaking a 6'3" or a 165-pound freshman, I want to see you doing it the right way. The proper fit, proper leverage. Okay, you just walk around beating up little kids, and we can tell it doesn't count. It doesn't count for Division I. It might count for something. Okay, I'm looking for physicality on film. Okay, and there's a lot of different ways to evaluate physicality. And I'll go once again when I go into positions a little bit that, but you can tell kids are a little shy of contact, and whether even in a scenario where it's a good highlight, there's a lot in that highlight that we can tell. Okay, or if you're avoiding contact or enjoy contact. So with quarterbacks, of course, we're looking for that frame, the magic number. I'm not going to share all the magic numbers, but obviously quarterbacks got to be a little taller. There is some leeway. Depends on different universities what they're looking for, but obviously arm strength, 30, 35 yards downfield. That's we try to tell the strength of the kid's arm. That's very average. You're going beyond 40 yards. Okay, you're moving up. Okay, with accuracy. Are you throwing out routes? Are you hitting the seam in the right angle? Okay. Are you looking at the field? We understand most high schools and most colleges should really have one side triangle read or one primary. Are you hitting the slant on time? Okay. All the standard throws you can go to a Gruden class and see, the outs, the ins, the timings, the sophistication of your offense. Are you carrying out your fakes? There's things that they don't look at or people might overlook when they're looking Division I. It's not all about the deep ball. Every high school quarterback throws a deep, other than the angle and the distance. I spent a lot of my time looking at how they throw the short ball. So if you're a Division I prospect, don't be constantly throwing the ball deep and if you send a film with all deep throws, that's a check against you. Make all the throws. Put all the throws on film. the digs, the outs, the slants. Okay, and carry out your fakes. Okay, we want to see you carry out fakes and be a team player. Okay, running backs. Of course, we want to see explosion. We can tell you're 40. Are you physical? Are you willing to block? If you're the difference between a kid that's explosive is the same. There's a lot of good athletes playing running back. One thing that gets them a notch above is showing some physicality, being a team player, and being willing to block. So we'll spend a lot. If you just send film of nobody touching you, running 60 yards for touchdowns, that's great. It's not going to hurt you. But to go to that extra tier and get graded up over other guys, you better show some clips of you hitting people, breaking some tackles, making some runs without good blocking, and of course, demonstrate some speed. Okay. Tight ends, wide receivers, we want to say good crisp routes. Once again, don't just show catching all deep bombs wide open. I want to see you catching the out. I want to see you catching the ball away from your body. I want you to see you going high, pointing the ball, and making some pretty tough catches, obviously. Again, demonstrating true speed. Okay, offensive line, I already talked about your frame, quality of competition. Also, I'm going to look at how do you run block and rundowns. How do you pass block? You know, today's game is so pass heavy, you'd be surprised. And this could give you an edge if you're a physical, good offensive lineman with a frame. You'd be surprised how poor high school pass blocking is. Going to the college level, that's a big jump and a big change. Is you go from primary run teams to primary passing teams. And so work on your kick slide, work on your pass technique, show you understand full slide, half slide, things like that. If you're a center, you know, show you're calling the mic and you understand you can slide. And then also, can you get to the second level? I want to see not just blowing up the guy right in front of you with his hand on the ground, or you're working a double team to a linebacker, or you're going free and catching a linebacker. Because to tell you the truth, you know, talking about speed, numbers, people think they are, as far as the numbers, people are fat. Players and offensive linemen are faster than the average people think, but the numbers that they use are skewed. So not every running back in high school is a 4 or 5 40, right? But at the same time, a Division I offensive lineman is faster than most high school running backs. So are you continuing to play through the play? Are you running downfield, being a good player? Are you making a block, pancaking the guy and stop and look around? You're getting knocked down, okay? That kind of player, we want to see that kind of physicality, that kind of effort, okay? D-line, same thing, effort. Can you use your hands? You shedding blocks, you ripping through quality of the offensive lineman. Is he got a kick slide, or you just beating up a kid? I know it's not your fault, but the kid has a poor jump set as a tackle, and you're beating him inside across his face. That's great. You know, also defensively, how do you tackle? Are you physical? Are you eager to tackle? Are you making good fits on the tackle? Are you making good open field tackles? Okay, linebackers, of course, tackling. We also see, again, you're going to a passing world from a run world, going from high school to college. So we want to see you expand past the hash and play in space. Can you get out there? Can you cover the flat? Can you cover the screen? Can you get underneath the slant route? Do you have hands? Are you explosive? Are you playing with leverage? Are you shedding blocks? You have good rip, shed, hand technique, shedding blocks on the run. How do you handle an ISO? Are you fitting right on the fullback and taking on the ball carrier physically with your head up? Okay, that'll get you knocked a notch above other players. Defensive backs, you flipping your hips. What kind of secondary is? You can't really control that, but you know, obviously a kid playing rip blitz match, flipping his hips, understanding, you know, and defending more complex pass concepts is going to have an edge over a kid that's sitting in country cover 3 in a rural community, you know. So, but you know, you're demonstrating when you're, you know, are you trusted in man? I like to see corners a little bit of man. And corners are hard to evaluate. Once again, size is valued in corners. Once again, long legs, long arms. We'll look at your arms too, offensive lineman too. We can kind of tell that. Big hands. Are you making interceptions? As a defensive back, we want to see you making explosive plays. You get that interception, we want to see it go back to the house. Okay, we want to see some explosiveness and some playmaking ability with the ball. An underappreciated highlight that goes a long way, bang for the buck. If you have block punts, block field goals, special teams explosion, put that on your film. it's almost a straight correlation. You know, every great defensive back that's panned out that I've evaluated has a number of blocked kicks on their resume, on their film, on their highlights. And that automatically, because that demonstrates true quick area, short area speed, true explosiveness, true football player willingness to get in front of it, physicality. Everything's packaged. Special teams get underappreciated. But if you're making special teams plays, put those on film. They demonstrate a lot of qualities, intangibles that are hard to pick up in your traditional stand around, intercept, ball fall down type highlight. So have your stats on there. So that quickly sums up a lot of things that we're looking for to see if you're Division One. Okay, Division Two, everything gets paired out, going down. Okay, this kid could be, if he's 6'2" with long legs, he's probably Division Two these days. You know, and then talk to your coaches. You know, target schools that fit your frame, because you know, gap scheme lineman is a little bit different than a zone scheme lineman. Some places, if they play a 3-5-3, they might want a different frame linebacker than a 4-3 middle linebacker. You know, you got to shop around. In today's world, too, the days of coaches come and sit and have a piece of pie with mom have become rare. I mean, that does happen, but usually it's high-profile recruits. A lot of recruiting now is done by the kid putting himself in front of the coaches, especially with this. Coaches are, again, looking at the college portal, transfer portal. So you got to create your highlight, pick the university that plays players of a similar frame that you are, similar style that you are, and then get your name out to them. Send them their film, send them email, follow them on Twitter, follow them on any social media you can, and interact with them. And again, go to their combine. So, because, you know, once again, I'm giving rough for everybody, but, you know, back in my day, you know, a wing T offensive lineman was a little bit different demands than a zone offensive lineman. I was even involved in a team that tried to do a transition from wing T to zone, and that was one of the big problems. Is wing T linemen aren't necessarily naturally very good zone linemen, or vice versa, so you couldn't really go forward back. But you know, so try to fit yourself to a university that fits your frame, that plays players of your frame, size, and skill and type of offense and defense that you're skilled at, and keep these things in mind. Keep your grades up, and always keep on working. You know, don't let anything get you down. If you weren't an all-stars as a freshman, no, don't let you get down. You know, there's not an end-all, be-all to things, but you know, the harder you work, the more you get. You know, you might not get to Alabama, but you know, playing at Bucknell is a fantastic opportunity. Playing at Muhlenberg is a fantastic opportunity. There's lots of great coaches and lots of great experience in football. Once again, congratulations if you are looking at colleges, if you're good enough playing college, because you know, you're in the upper crest, whether you play at smallest Division III college in your state, all the way up to Michigan. Okay, you're a hell of a football player. So congratulations on that. So hope this helps you. Hope it doesn't make too many people angry, but that's an honest account of how we categorize players. Hey, thanks for watching. Have a great week. Peace out.